أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and welcome to our class today. I hope and pray that everyone is doing very well and that you all had a lovely half term that last week. Jazakumullah to everyone for joining the class on time. We will begin with our opening dua. If you could please have a student to the mic.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Could we have G2726 on the mic, please?
Jazakumullah. G2726.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. So let's start with Dawood. So please follow after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Excellent. And Tasmiyah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent. Let's read the translation for Dawood and Tasmiyah before we move on. One moment. There we go. So Dawood, can you read the translation?
Okay. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected.
Good. And Tasmiyah?
In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful.
Brilliant. Well done. Let's go down to today's dua. Would you like to read by yourself?
Okay. Rabbi ilma.
Okay, good attempt. Well done. Let's do that again. Rabbi. Yeah, the ba has a kasra underneath it. So we're not going to make a b sound. We're going to make a b sound. So Rabbi. Zidni. Ilma. Excellent. All together now. Rabbi zidni ilma. Brilliant. Well done. Much better. And the translation, please.
Oh my Lord, increase me in my knowledge.
Good. Well done. And where's this from? This dua.
Taha 115.
Yes, Surah Taha in the Holy Quran, verse 115. Excellent. Good.
Can my brother read?
So there's nothing to read at the moment. Inshallah, we'll if he's on the list, then we'll pick him later on. Okay.
Okay.
Jazakumullah. Okay. So just a quick reminder about class etiquettes that you should be following at all times during class. Please ensure that you have done your wudu before you enter the classroom today. You should be wearing clean clothes and your heads should be covered appropriately. It's also really important that you're sitting in a nice and quiet place so that you're able to concentrate properly, and we can also hear you clearly when you come to the mic. Your parents should be present or nearby so that they can help you wherever needed. And also, importantly, that you should be logged in with your correct IDs. Okay, so today's schedule is as follows. We, after assembly, we will start to look at our rule in focus for today's class, which is continuing with the rule of Maddelin. So we started to look at this rule in yesterday's class with your teacher, where you looked at Wawlin. So today we are going to look at the other type of Maddelin, which is Yalin. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today and practicing in just a moment. We'll then go on to look at our practice text. And in today's class, we'll try and get through 3 surahs or chapters, which is chapter 99, chapter 102, and chapter 105, inshallah, time permitting. And then we'll take a small break at past to look at the QRS part of today's class, which is a new segment, which you started yesterday. So we'll be continuing with that today. And then we'll go back to our practice text before ending the class with our homework, any announcements, and our closing dua, inshallah. Okay, so let's have a look at our rule in focus, which is Maddelin. In English, it's known as soft elongation. So soft elongation or madde-leen is what we're focusing on today. So in yesterday's class, you looked at what the word leen means. Leen means to ease or to soften. In the rules of recitation, if waw, so that's the letter waw, and the letter ya are strokeless, or in other words, they have a sukoon on top of them, or they are a sakun letter, and they are preceded by a letter bearing the stroke of fatha, then they are called al-haruful leen, or letters of ease. So what this is saying, that if you see in the Holy Quran the letter waw or the letter ya in its sakin form, so if they have a sukoon on top of them, and the letter before that waw sakin or ya sakin has a fatha on it, then that waw and that ya will be known as al-haruful leen, or letters of ease. Okay, so yesterday you looked at how to recognize waw leen, and you practiced, looked at some examples from the Holy Quran. So today we are going to look at the other type, which is ya leen. So we're going to look at how to recognize ya leen. When ya sakin is preceded by a consonant carrying the stroke of fatha, it is called ya leen. And we can see a few examples of those in these boxes. So as you can see over here, let's look at this example first. We have a ya sakin, and the letter before it carries a fatha. So when this happens, this ya will now be known as ya leen. Okay, one more example over here. You can see that we have a ya sakin, okay, and the letter before carries a fatha. Again, this will be known as ya leen. So these are a few examples. Then let's have a look at the third one as well. We have ya sakin, and the letter before carries a fatha. So this is known as ya leen. So wherever in the Holy Quran you see a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha, then that will be known as a ya leen. So that is what we are looking and focusing at today. So we are going to do some practice. Okay, so let me just go through the first example, and if everybody could listen and follow along at home, and then we'll inshallah have students on the mic. So over here we have the letter alif, and it has a fatha on it, and we know that a letter with a fatha on it will be pronounced for one count. So this will be over here now. We can see we still have a alif with a fatha, but that is followed by a ya sakin. And we have just learned that wherever you see a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha, then that ya will now be a ya leen. So this is how it's going to be pronounced. Ay. We're going to start off with the sound of alif with a fatha, and then we are going to lean into the sound of ya sakin. So that's a nice way to look into it, okay? Ya leen, so we're going to lean into the sound of the ya. Ay. And we're going to do that for about 2 counts, okay? So hold that sound for about 2 counts. Over here we have ba with the fatha, ba. And over here we have ba with the fatha followed by a ya sakin. And this is ya sakin is special because it's a ya sakin letter before carries a fatha, so it's a ya leen. So this is going to be pronounced as bay, bay. Next we have a ta with a fatha, ta. And next to that we have a ta with a fatha again, but with a ya sakin afterwards. And this is a special type of ya sakin because the letter before carries a fatha. So we are going to pronounce this as tay. This is a ya leen, so we're going to lean on into the sound of the wa, into the ya sound. Tay. I hope everyone is following along at home. Tay. Okay, so that is how we correctly pronounce a ya lean. So let's go down, and exercise 16.3, we are practicing ya lean and how to correctly pronounce it. So let's have a student to the mic, please.
G2604.
G2604. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Okay, so we're learning about the rule of ya lean. So did you understand it?
Yes.
All right, brilliant. Okay, so let's look at some examples from exercise 16.3. Okay, just bear with me for one moment. Okay, so over here we can see that we have a ya sakin in the middle, okay? And we can see that the letter before, the letter ha, what does it carry? Which stroke?
A fatha.
A fatha. Well done. And we've just learned that wherever you see a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha, then this ya sakin will now be known as a ya lean. So we're going to pronounce this as hay.
Hey.
Good. And then thu.
Su.
Okay, try and pronounce that by taking the tip of your tongue to and touching it to your top two teeth, okay? Thu.
Su.
Good. Hey thu.
Hey. Su.
Brilliant. Well done. Really good. Let's look at the next example. You can see, again, we have a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So this is a ya lean. So we're going to pronounce this as lay.
Lay.
Good. Latu.
Latu.
Good. Laylatu.
Laylatu.
Brilliant. Well done. Excellent. You're doing really well. Let's look at the next example. Over here, again, after this curve, you can see we have a ya sakin. And it's a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So this ya will now be known as, can you tell me?
Yaleen.
Excellent. Good. So we're going to pronounce this part of the word as kay.
Kay.
Good. Fakayfa.
Fakayfa.
Brilliant. Well done. Excellent. Let's look at the next example. Over here, we have, again, a ya sakin. Okay, let me try and highlight that a bit better for you. Okay, there we go. So over here in blue, we can see we have a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So this is a ya lean. So we're going to pronounce this part as ray.
Ray.
Good. Shahraini.
Shahraini.
Excellent. Good. One more time. Shahraini.
Shahraini.
Excellent. Well done, mashallah. And let's do one more. Over here, we have a ya sakin. You can see over here in blue. And the letter before carries a fatha. So this is known as?
A Yaleen.
Brilliant. Well done. So this is going to be pronounced as a.
Right.
Okay. It's an alif. Okay. Try not to make the sound of an ain. So a.
Right.
Okay. Just say this one. Alif joins to the ya lean. A. Good. And then all together it will be ra'ayta.
Ra'ayta.
Excellent. Good. Well done. Really nicely read, mashallah. Just stay on the line and let's do one more. Okay, this one over here. Okay, so we have a ya sakin. Can you see where it is, where my mouse is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So this is a ya lean. So nay.
Nay.
Good. Mu.
Moo.
Yeah, This is, we're stretching for 2 counts because it's a waw sakin, letter before carries a dhamma, so it's a waw mud. So this is what we learnt before the half term. So I hope you all remember that rule. So it's mu'minaini.
Mu'minaini.
Excellent. One more time. Mu'minaini.
Mu'minaini.
Excellent. Good. Well done. Really nicely read. Jazakumullah for coming to the mic. Allah Hafiz for now. Allah Hafiz. Okay. So that was the rule of Yaleen. Okay, so once more, Yaleen is where you find a Ya Sakin in the Holy Quran and the letter before carries a fatha. That is known as Yaleen. And we will pronounce it as, so for example, over here, this will be Bay. Okay, we're going to lean into the sound of the Ya when we do it. Okay, so that's the rule. I hope you've all understood it. And now we are going to move on to our practice text. And we are going to start off with Surah At-Takallum. And we are going to request students to come to the mic now and recite with me. Okay, so let's have a student, please.
Yes. This is a joint ID. Could we have G2508 on the mic, please?
G2508.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. So Surah At-Takallum is what we are going to start off with today. So if you could start with Dawood and Tasmiyah, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, good. Well done. Let's start with verse number 2. Alhaaku
ألهاكم
muttakathur.
التكاثر.
Good. All together. Alhaaku muttakathur.
ألهاكم التكاثر.
Okay, good. This is a kaf, okay? So let's try that again. Alhaaku muttakathur.
ألهاكم
It's okay, no problem. Take your time, okay? Read it nice and slowly. One more time, just follow after me. Alhaaku
ألهاكم
muttakathur.
التكاثر.
Alhaaku muttakathur.
ألهاكم التكاثر.
Kathur.
كاثر.
Try that again. So we have 2 places where the letter kaf comes, okay? One is highlighted over here and the other is here. And in the middle we have a ta. So let's try that again. Alhaaku muttakathur.
ألهاكم التكاثر.
Brilliant. Well done. Perfect. Okay. Well done. That was really nicely read. Let's carry on. Hatta zurtu
حتى زرت
mulmaqabir.
المقابر.
Good. Well done. Let's try that. Hatta zurtu mulmaqabir.
حتى زرت
Okay, it has a dhamma on it. So let's try that again. Hatta zurtu.
حتى زرت
Zurtu.
زرت.
Yeah, it has a dhamma on the za. So we're going to pronounce that correctly, okay? Hatta zurtu
حتى زرت
mulmaqabir.
المقابر.
Good, well done. Try and make that qaf sound, thick, heavy sound, okay? Maqabir.
مقابر.
Brilliant. Well done. So in this verse over here, we have places where we need to elongate. So we have, for example, vertical fatha on this. So we stretched for 2 counts. Hatta. And then over here, we have alif mad after the qaf with a fatha. So again, we have stretched for 2 counts over there as well. So we just need to be really careful with timing always. Let's do the next verse. كلا سوف
كلا سوف
تعلمون.
تعلمون.
Good. كلا سوف تعلمون.
كلا سوف تعلمون.
Good. Well done. Okay. Can you tell me what is special about this? What's this waw called? What
Lean.
rule? Yeah.
Lean.
Yeah,
Lean.
well done. Wow, lean. Excellent. So this is what you covered in yesterday's class. And why is it a wow lean?
Because it's a fatha
There's a fatha. Where's the fatha?
in saw.
Yes, on top of the scene, there is a fatha, and that is followed by a waw sakin. So whenever you see that, that is a waw lean. And so we have pronounced this as sawfa, like that, okay? So this is what you learned yesterday. Well done for remembering. Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. Jazakumullah for coming to the mic and reading. Is someone there with you as well?
Yes, my sister.
Okay, then she can come on the mic now. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. What about you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, so if you could start with Dawood and Tasmiyah nice and slowly, and then we'll carry on.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Okay. Thumma kalla.
Thumma kalla.
Excellent. One more time. Thumma kalla.
Thumma kalla.
Excellent. Sawfa
Sawfa
ta'lamun.
ta'lamun.
Excellent. Thumma kalla sawfa.
Thumma kalla sawfa
Go on.
ta'lamun.
Okay, the first time you said it was good. Okay, so over here. Ta'lamun.
Ta'lamun.
Excellent. Well done. Okay. Now in this verse as well, we have this. So just like we saw before, this is a waw lean because the letter before carries a fatha. So we've done the same thing as we did before. We're going to lean into the sound of the waw, starting off with the sound of sa and leaning into the sound of waw. Sawfa.
Sawfa.
Brilliant. Good. Well done. Before that, we have alif. Let me do that again. Alif mad, because the letter before carries a fatha. Kalla. We've stretched for 2 counts over here. Okay, so these are all the things that we need to be taking into consideration and applying correctly when we're reading. Let's do the next verse. Kalla law.
Kalla law.
Excellent. Ta'lamuna.
Ta'lamuna.
علم اليقين.
Ilmal yaqeen.
Okay, good. Try and pronounce this off with a thick, heavy sound. علم اليقين.
Ilmal yaqeen.
Okay, can you try that sound? Qeen.
Kain.
Good, well done. Okay, you just need to keep practicing this sound. It's not something that comes naturally, so you need to make a bit of an effort to pronounce this correctly. But with practice, inshallah, you'll get there, okay? Let's try that again. Now in this verse as well, we have an example of wawleen, which is over here, because it's a waw sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So it's a wawleen, low, like that. Okay, so we need to pronounce that correctly as well. So let's do that again. كلا لو تعلمون.
كلا لو تعلمون
Good. علم اليقين.
علم اليقين
Excellent. Good. Well done, mashallah. You're doing really well. And then the next one. لترون
لترون
النل.
النل
لترون
لترون
Good. جحيم.
الجحيم
Excellent. Good. لترون الجحيم.
لترون الجحيم
Excellent, mashallah. Well done. Really, really good recitation. Okay. Now in this verse, especially, we have to look out for the short strokes. So we have 3 letters in the beginning over here with fatha on them. So we need to make sure that we're pronouncing each one of those for 1 count each, not stretching one more than the other. Then we have another stroke over here, which is a fatha, and it's a short stroke. So these are all things we need to be careful of. Well done. Jazakumullah, both of you, for coming to the mic and reading. Allah Hafiz for now.
Allah Hafiz.
Let's have another student, please.
Could I just confirm the student's ID you just read?
The G2 508.
And after that, G2509.
Okay. Oh, there was a joint. I only got 508, so I don't know if
Okay.
they were
but
together.
If we could have G2626 on the mic.
Yeah. G2 626. G2 626. Can you come to the mic, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. So we are going to be continuing on and finishing off this surah. So if you could start with Tawud and Tasmiyah, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good, well done. Okay, so from here, thumma.
ثم.
Good, so that th sound is what we need to be focusing on. Thumma
ثم
latarawunna.
لترون.
Excellent. Thumma latarawunna.
ثم لترون
ها عين اليقين.
ها أين اليقين.
Excellent, good. Try and make that sound of the qaf. Okay, qaf is a sound that we need to make a thick and heavy sound for. Yaqeen.
يقين.
Excellent, much better. Well done. So let's try that again. ثم لترونها عين اليقين.
ثم لترونها أين اليقين.
Excellent, mashallah, well done, really, really nicely read. So let's have a look at the rules that we needed to focus on in this verse in particular. So we've got the short strokes, so we need to be careful with those that we are only pronouncing for 1 count each. Then we have alif mud over here because it's a blank alif and the letter before carries a fatha. So we are stretching for how long? Do you remember?
2 seconds.
2 seconds or 2 counts. Well done. Now next to that, we have this. Can you tell me what this is called? This bit over here?
It's a yalin.
Excellent, good. And why is that?
because the letter before it has a stroke of fatha.
Excellent, good. So it's a ya sakin, and the letter before carries a fatha. So that's why it's a ya lean. And so that's why we pronounced it as I. So we have leaned into the sound of the ya. So this is really important. This is what we covered today at the beginning of class. Well done, really nicely remembered. Okay, so let's have a look at the next verse, next and final verse of this surah. ثم لتسألن.
لتسألن.
Good. This is a hamza, so it's going to make the sound of the alif. So don't confuse it with an ayn. This is a hamza, so it makes the sound of an alif. ثم لتسألن.
ثم لتسألن.
Good. يومئذ.
يومئذ.
Good. Hamza with a kasra, so only stretch for one count. يومئذ.
يومئذ.
عن النعيم.
عن النعيم.
Excellent. Good. Well done. Now over here we have ayn over here and ayn over here. So try and pronounce that ayn sound from the middle of your throat, okay? عن النعيم.
عن النعيم.
Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. And over here, we have an example of waw lean. So waw sakin, letter before, carries a fatha. So waw lean. MashaAllah, well done. Really good recitation, G2 626. Jazakumullah for coming to the mic. Allah Hafiz for now.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, so let's just take a quick pause over here and we are going to look at our QRS part of today's class. So if you were here in yesterday's class, you know that we are going to start a new segment in classes now, known as QRS. And the purpose of this segment is to increase our knowledge about the Holy Quran. So yesterday you had a lovely presentation all about recitation of the Holy Quran and why it's important that we recite the Holy Quran and why it's so necessary and important for us to do so. So this is all part of it, and it is all part of us trying to increase our knowledge and understanding of the Holy Quran. So in yesterday's class, we are basically now going to go through each part of the Holy Quran and we are going to learn various facts about that part in particular. So as many of you may know, the Holy Quran has a total of 30 parts. And in yesterday's class, you started to look at part number 1 and you learned that part number 1 starts off with the word Alif Lam Mim. So that is the first word of word of part 1 in the Holy Quran. Okay, so you also learnt that part 1 of the Holy Quran starts with Surah Al-Baqarah, which is chapter number 2, and it starts with the first verse of Surah Al-Baqarah. And part 1 finishes again with Surah Al-Baqarah, but verse 142. Okay, so that is part 1 of the Holy Quran. Now today we are going to look at part 2. So part 2 of the Holy Quran starts with the word Sayaqulu. Sayaqulu. And part number 2 of the Holy Quran continues with Surah Al-Baqarah, which is chapter 2, and it starts off with 143, that's the first number, and then it finishes with, again, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 253. So as you can see, Surah Al-Baqarah is a long verse. It starts in part number 1 and continues in part number 2, and you'll see tomorrow that it also continues in part of part number 3 as well. So a portion of part number 3 is also Surah Al-Baqarah. So Surah Al-Baqarah is the longest surah of the Holy Quran, with Surah Al-Kawthar being the shortest. So you can see that there are many verses in Surah Al-Baqarah, and it spans over part number 1, part number 2, and a little bit of part number 3 as well. So those were just a few quick facts about part number 1 and part number 2 of the Holy Quran that you may wish to remember, or you may wish to open up the Holy Quran and see these facts for yourself as well. Okay, so now we are going to go back to our practice text, and we are now going to look at Surah Al-Fil. Before I do that, in the chat, I believe, yes, so in the chat, the attendance form for today's class has been posted. So if everybody could please click on that link and make sure that you record your attendance for today's class. And if you can't do it now, then shortly after class, please do ensure that you do that so that we know who has attended the class today. Okay, so let's do Surah Al-Fil. Can we have a student to the mic, please?
Yes. G2627.
G2627. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. My brother's in the bathroom right now.
Okay, that's fine. Are you a student?
Yes.
What's your ID?
G2582.
G2582?
Yeah.
Okay, discipline charge, is that okay if she reads?
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so then you can go first, okay? And Surah Al-Fil is what we're starting with. So if you could please repeat after me with Dawood. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent, good, well done. Okay, let's start with verse number 2. ألم تر كيف.
ألم تر كيف
Good. فعل
فعل
ربك.
ربك.
Good. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك.
ألم تر كيف فعل ربك.
Good, well done, excellent. بأصحاب الفيل.
بأصحاب الفيل.
Okay, just one moment. Can we? Sorry, can we just ensure that only G2582 is unmuted?
Yes, done.
Okay, thank you. Jazakumullah. Okay, sorry, where were we? Okay, yes. بأصحاب الفيل.
بأصحاب الفيل.
Yep, بالفيل.
بالفيل.
Good, well done. Let's do that again. ألم تر كيف.
ألم تر كيف
فعل ربك.
فعل ربك.
Good, one more time. فعل ربك.
فعل ربك.
Good. بأصحاب الفيل.
بأصحاب الفيل.
Excellent, good, well done, really, really good recitation. Let's have a look at some of the rules in this verse. So we have the short vowels. So we have the fatha on there, we have the fatha on there. So these are all things we need to be careful of to only pronounce for one count. So we have a dhamma over here, we have a kasra over here. So these are all short strokes or short vowels that we need to be careful of. Over here now, let me just get rid of these and we can have a look. So over here we have a rule that we looked at today. So can you tell me what this is? A yaleen. Excellent. Good. It's a yaleen because it's a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So that's why we have pronounced it as kayfa. Okay. So wherever we see a yaleen, that's how we need to, a similar pronunciation needs to be made. Okay. And then we have some longer strokes or long vowels. So for example, we have a vertical fatha over here that we stretched for how many counts? Do you remember?
2 seconds or 2 counts.
Yes, that's correct. Well done. Okay, so timing is really, really key whenever we're reciting. And let's do the next verse. Alam yaj'al.
Alam yaj'al
Good. Kaydahum
kaydahum
fi tadlil.
tadlil.
Excellent, good. Can you just come a bit closer to the mic? You're a bit distant in your sound. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Good. Well done. Okay. So let's do that again. Alam yaj'al
Alam yaj'al
kaydahum fi tadlil.
kaydahum
Yeah. Yeah.
tadlil.
Good. Kaydahum fi tadlil.
kaydahum fi tadlil.
Good, well done, excellent. And then in this verse as well, we have an example of yaleen over here. It's a ya sakin, letter before carries a fatha, so it's a yaleen. So that's why we've stretched it for 2 counts and said it as gaida, like that, okay? And then what else do we have? We have a ya mud over here, okay? That's the difference. Ya mud is when we have ya sakin, letter before carries a kasra, so it becomes a letter of prolongation. Whereas with ya leen, we have a ya sakin, letter before carries a fatha, so it becomes a letter of leen. So qaida, and this is fi. So even though these are both ya sakins, the letter before that determines what kind of ya sakin it will be, or what kind of ya it will be. So these are the things that we need to pick up on. Okay, well done, really good. Is your brother back?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. We'll choose another student then. Okay. Okay, Jazakumullah for coming to the bike. Allah Hafiz.
Fish.
Can we have another student, please?
Yeah. G2613.
G2613.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. If you could please start with Dawood and Tasmiyah, nice and slowly.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good. So we're starting from here. وأرسل
وأرسل
عليهم.
عليهم
Good. وأرسل عليهم
وأرسل عليهم
طيرا.
طيرا.
Good. This ta is thick and heavy sound. طيرا.
طيرا.
Good. أبابيل.
أبابيل.
Good. Excellent. So all together, let's do that again. وأرسل عليهم
وأرسل عليهم
طيرا أبابيل.
طيرا أبابيل.
Good, well done, excellent. Now in this verse over here, again, we have some short strokes. So for example, over here, these are all short strokes. Over here, we have an example of, can you tell me?
Wow. Lean.
Okay, have
No,
a look
yeah,
at,
lean.
yes, so it's not a wow, it's a ya, excellent. It's a ya lean because it's a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha, so it's a ya lean. So we're pronouncing as alayhim.
Alayhim.
Good. Now we have another example of ya lean in this verse. Can you point it out for me? Do you know where it is?
Is it with Bila?
Okay, over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not ya lean over here. So you know you can see a ya sakin, but ya lean is when ya sakin comes after a letter with a fatha. So does ba have a fatha?
No, it has a
No.
kasra.
It has a kasra, yes. So when ya lean and the letter before carries a kasra, it is known as ya mad. Okay, that's what I was explaining before as well. That if you see a ya sakin and the letter before carries a kasra, then that's a ya mad. But if you see a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha, then that's a ya lean. So for example, over here, the alayhim, the ya sakin letter before carries a fatha. So this is a ya lean. Now there is another example of ya lean in this over here. So let me just point it out for you.
It's with toy.
Yes, well done. It's with toy. So we have ta with a fatha followed by ya sakin. So this is a ya lean because it's a ya sakin and the letter before carries a fatha. So really be careful. So it's not just about spotting where the ya sakin is, it's about spotting where the ya sakin is and where the letter before the ya sakin is a fatha. That's what a ya lean is. Okay, so well done for
Can my sister have a turn?
remembering that. Okay, but you're on the mic at the moment and you still have one more verse to go. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to stay on the mic now. Okay, let's do the next verse. Tarmihim.
Tarmihim.
Good. Bihijara.
Bihijara.
Min sijil.
Min sijil.
Excellent. Good. Let's do that again. Tarmihim bihijaratim min sijil.
ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل.
Really good attempt, mashallah. Well done. Really, it's a bit difficult and it's a bit of a longer verse, but you did really well. So one more time, let's do that again. Tarmihim
ترميهم
bihijara
بحجارة
min sijil.
من سجيل.
Excellent. Good. Well done. Excellent. Mashallah. Okay, so we just have one more verse to go. So if your sister wants to come to the mic.
Okay, let me go get her.
Okay, she's not next to you? Okay, I think let's move on to another student then, because we don't have much time left.
G2622.
Okay, Jazakumullah. If I can request everyone to please ensure that if you're a student, that you're always sitting at your device, so that you're ready to come to the mic when you're called, okay? Otherwise, you may miss your turn. Yes, G2622. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine as well. Jazakumullah for asking. So if you could start with Tawud and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent, good. We're just going to start from here again, okay? So, وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ
وأرسل عليهم
طَيْرًا
طير
أبابيل.
أبابيل.
Good, well done. One more time. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ.
وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل.
Excellent. Good. Well done. This sound over here, try and make it thick. طَيْرًا.
طيرا
Better. Well done. Okay, let's go on to the next verse. تَرْمِيهِمْ
ترميهم
بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ.
بحجارة من سجيل.
Excellent. Good. Well done. Let's try and say that that verse all together. ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل.
ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل.
Perfect. Well done, mashallah. You read that really nicely. Let's do the last verse. فجعلهم
فجعلهم
كعصف مأكول.
كعصف مأكول.
Excellent. Good. So over here we have alif with a sukoon on top of it. So over here what we're going to do is we're going to make a bit of a jerk sound, okay? Fim. Good. Okay, one more time. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ.
فجعلهم كعصف مأكول.
Excellent. MashaAllah, really good recitation. The pronunciation is really good and your timing was really good as well, which is really important. So Jazakumullah for coming to the mic, G2622. Allah Hafiz for now. Okay, so that was Surah Al-Fil. MashaAllah, everybody that came to the mic today read really well, and well done to everyone who remembered about the letters of Leen and were able to recognize and point them out, which is excellent. I'm just going to consolidate and set you your homework for today's class now. So today, what we did is we looked at Maddeleen, and we learned that if you see a ya sakin that comes straight after a letter carrying a dhamma, comes straight after a letter carrying a fatha. Okay, so apologies, just a typo over here. So if you see a ya sakin that comes after a letter carrying a fatha, then we must prolong the sound for 2 counts, and that is known as ya leen. Okay, so today we looked at chapter 105 and chapter 99, and yesterday you looked at chapter 102. So these are the 3 chapters that we'd really like you to please go over if you get the time, as that's what we practiced in yesterday's class and today's class. And then we also managed to look at part number 2 of the Holy Quran, and we looked at the fact that it starts off with the word sayaqulu, and we also looked at what verse it starts with and what verse it finishes with in Surah Al-Baqarah as well. Okay, so we just learned a few quick facts about part number 2 of the Holy Quran. So your homework for today's class is to apply all the rules that we have revised so far in your daily tilawat. And pay close attention to timing, because remember, meanings can change with incorrect timing. So if you stretch something more than it needs to be, or if you stretch something less than it needs to be, then that can change the meaning of the word, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so it's really important that we read it correctly. So that's your homework. Okay, we are going to end with our dua. If you could have a student, please, to the mic.
Yes, G2584.
G2584.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Okay, so let's do Dawood. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent. Let's go down. Allahumma arhamni bil-Qur'anil azim.
Allahumma arhamni bil-Qur'anil azim.
Perfect. And the translation, please.
O Allah, have mercy on me through the Quran the Great.
Excellent. MashaAllah. Really good recitation. Jazakumullah for doing that for us today. Jazakumullah to everyone for joining today's class. Please ensure that you do your homework, and inshallah we'll speak to you all again same time tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.